Chiarisa Group is a minority and woman-owned development firm based in New York. Our ethos revolves around inclusivity and creating powerful community connections. The name is a combination of my granddaughter's name, Chiara Isabella. Our mission is to increase affordable housing access and community well-being. We are not just a real estate development and management firm, but also a driven enterprise committed to tackling one of society's most critical challenges, housing insecurity. Our plan envisions a high-quality, resilient, and sustainable 100% affordable housing transformation in residential and mixed-use environments, comprehensively addressing critical needs while setting a new standard for urban development. The cost burdens are the primary drivers of housing insecurity, exacerbating health disparities and perpetuating cycles of disadvantage across the U.S. New York's expensiveness causes households to pay most of their income for housing and makes unaffordable a healthy lifestyle, including education, healthcare, and recreation. Since 1960, New York City has been a declared housing emergency, defined as when the vacancy rate is below 5%. Today, the city suffers from a net rental vacancy rate of 1.4%, lower than almost any time since that emergency was declared. According to the New York City Charter Revision Commission, the metro area faces what is likely the worst housing affordability crisis in its history. It damages the local economy and shapes what kind of city New York will be, undermining the vision of the city as the world center of strivers, creatives, entrepreneurs, arts, and culture. This crisis also shapes who New York City will be for. It drives gentrification, displacement, segregation, overcrowded homes, and tenant harassment. It forces working New Yorkers with full-time jobs into homelessness and leaves our city in search of a more affordable one. When applications for Section 8 housing vouchers opened last year, over 600,000 people applied to be added to the wait list in a week. For those lucky enough to secure a voucher, nearly 50% of families fail to find an apartment where they can use it, typically having long search times of up to 171 days. Small businesses can participate in the development of new and rehab affordable housing in New York City and the country. However, establishing the firm with the required certifications and labor history during the pre-seed stages is difficult to achieve due to the capital needed as startup. The certified status as a small minority women-owned business and the certifications as contractor, builder, developer, or manager open doors to funds, but are often unreachable for small entities that struggle to raise. While competition exists within the real estate development sector, Chiarisa Group distinguishes itself through its foundational commitment to social impact. Our deep understanding of the user, the underserved family, the senior seeking stability, the individual striving for economic mobility allows us to design, develop, and manage properties that are not just compliant, but genuinely responsive to human needs. Our lived experience, coupled with our rigorous adherence to guidelines and strategic partnerships, gives us an unparalleled authenticity and operational advantage in this mission-critical space. Chiarisa Group uses a hybrid construction model to reduce costs to $400 to $500 per square foot and increase speed. For mid-rise, from 7 to 14-story buildings using Modular's pre-built panels and cores, reducing construction timelines by up to 50%. For tiny house villages, we propose using pre-designed capsules or modular, mobile-efficient tiny homes to create micro-communities on small infill lots or as transitional housing. Conventional construction is deployed when zoning density, financing, or mixed-use programming favors traditional site-built solutions. The target sites are the New York City Housing Authority infill parcels, city-owned vacant lots, land bank properties, and underutilized private plots and rezoning areas. We propose different development types: infill affordable housing for projects from 2 to 14 units, mixed income / mixed-use developments for larger projects, and supportive housing for the elderly, veterans, and special needs tenants. This development strategy allows for achieving green building standards, such as Energy Star, Passive House, and ensuring 50% more minority and women-owned business enterprise vendor inclusion. The market opportunity in New York City is immense. The Department of Housing Preservation and Development alone commands a pipeline of over $1 billion in available subsidies for affordable housing initiatives. Furthermore, There is a rapidly growing demand for compliant landlords who are willing and equipped to accept Section 8 housing vouchers. Community development financial institutions are actively seeking opportunities to fund minority and women-owned business enterprise projects, aligning with our equitable ownership model and our commitment to economic justice. But the access to that funding should be preceded by licenses and experience that cannot be achieved without resources. It is for that seed stage that Chiarisa Group requests other sources of funds, such as grants and smaller loans. It requires capital for business operations, office management, and equipment and materials purchase. The certifications and credentials required before the income stage often limit or make it impossible the investment for small companies. Private businesses with a larger capacity frequently are not interested in decreasing rental prices or getting involved in affordable housing programs. I'm a 57-year-old woman born and raised in communist Cuba, where I experienced profound systemic, political, and economic discrimination. Despite the constraints of that system, I became a medical doctor and served the public for over 2 decades in both rural and urban areas. My income ranged from $2 to $24 per month, which kept me in a perpetual disadvantage. I founded a small business with my mother to support my family after the collapse of the socialist bloc. As part of Cuba's state-run international labor agreements, I was sent to Venezuela on a medical mission. I had no freedom to negotiate, leave, or access opportunities for savings or investment, but I was the main family support. So I continued for almost 10 years in that condition. In 2014, I immigrated to the United States in search of freedom and economic opportunity. The inability to transfer my medical license, cultural dislocation, and the language barrier were the new challenges. I had to start over, working in survival jobs to support myself and my family. I created a nonprofit to help people like me, providing financial and cultural education and translation services. I worked as a research coordinator, freelancer home care assistant, and started a business in Las Vegas selling my mother's and her entrepreneur friends' clothes. In 2020, I enrolled at the Econ School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, where I earned a Master of Science in Clinical Research. Regardless of my experience and credentials, it was decal to obtain. Noncing and starting a business or whining contracts. This business tucks my lifelong commitment to studying, learning, and serving others and my resilience. As a physician and clinical researcher, I understand the social determinants of health and the role that stable housing plays in individual and community well-being. After years of professional reinvention, I am ready to use my experience, discipline, and empathy to help solve the critical housing insecurity. Our business model is designed for both financial sustainability and profound social impact. Initially, we generate revenue through a diversified approach. The rental income derived from the Housing and Urban Development Section 8 programs and the Department of Housing Preservation and Development rental subsidy programs. Other is the developer fees earned through project development in compliance with those departments. The management contracts of developed assets with anticipated allocation of low-income housing tax credits will generate approximately $23,000 per unit annually in tax equity financing scenarios. We will also provide design and consulting services to peer minority and women-owned business enterprises, developers, and nonprofit housing groups. Building a legacy to be a transformative force in affordable housing, not just in New York City, but as a model for equitable development nationwide, Chiarisa Group intends to create jobs, build equity, and give back to the communities where we develop affordable housing, fostering tenant stability, facilitating economic mobility for residents, and catalyzing neighborhood reinvestment. Our startup is looking for grants and fundraising for company licenses, credit building, and enabling the company for project biddings and applications. The immediate financial need is to become fully operational and eligible for public and private development. The following certifications and licenses are needed: minority, woman-owned, and small business certifications, the Department of Building certification, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and the Site Safety trainings, the zoning, legal, and permitting certifications, New York City General Contractor licensing, and the Construction Labor Provider license. It demands a minimum of $25,000. We are looking forward to reaching $250,000 in seed equity for business operations, office management, equipment, and materials purchase. This capital is crucial for the first stage of the business. After consolidating the company, we will apply for a $500,000 line of credit to facilitate the timely acquisition of initial properties. The affordable housing programs offer grant support for resident services. Our startup is looking for grants and fundraising for company licenses, credit building, and enabling the company for project biddings and applications. The immediate financial need is to become fully operational and eligible for public and private development. The following certifications and licenses are needed: minority, woman-owned, and small business certifications, the Department of Building certification, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and the Site Safety trainings, the zoning, legal, and permitting certifications, New York City General Contractor licensing, and the Construction Labor Provider license. It demands a minimum of $25,000. We are looking forward to reaching $250,000 in seed equity for business operations, office management, equipment, and materials purchase. This capital is crucial for the first stage of the business. After consolidating the company, we will apply for a $500,000 line of credit to facilitate the timely acquisition of initial properties. The affordable housing programs offer grant support for resident services. Chiarisa Group's financial proposal adheres to all applicable HPD and HDC term sheet requirements and follows the underwriting assumptions outlined in the East 5th Financial Assumptions.pfs. The construction loan and permanent loans, including private lenders, New York City Housing Development Corporation short-term bonds, and long-term bonds and subsidies with different percentages paid and deferred. The financial project includes programs for the developer and for the tenant. Low-income housing tax credit. It's a federal program designed to incentivize private sector investment in the development and rehabilitation of affordable rental housing for low-income individuals and families. The program provides tax credits to developers who agree to rent a certain percentage of their units to low-income tenants at below market rates. 9% of tax credit, and is recommended to be no more than $23,000 per HTC unit in buildings with 120 units. 4% of tax credit for projects with over 120 units with bond financing is applicable. Section 8 project-based vouchers gross rents are assumed to equal 110% of the FAPE market rent. The Empire State Supportive Housing Initiative rental assistance corresponds to maximum 60% of area median income rents. The New York City 1515s program is a New York City funded rental assistance program that assists eligible families and individuals who are homeless or at risk of homelessness by providing an affordable apartment and offering supportive services to help participants achieve long-term stability. In this case, standard payments apply with utility allowances subtracted. Those credits and subsidies should fill the gap in the financial project. The financial projections in the short term include a negative income in 2025 of minus $200,000, a net income of $100,000 in 2026, and $400,000 in 2027, and a break-even point expected by end of year 2, with a 3 to 5% return projected for mission-driven investors by year 5, and a growth fueled by low-income housing tax credit-backed projects and modular site replications. For the long-term projections, Chiarisa Group aims to expand into 3 boroughs and deliver more than 150 units from 2027 to 2029. We plan to launch a small-scale modular factory hub in 2030, and by 2040, we will have developed more than 1,000 affordable housing units across the NY metro area. The diversification pathways for Chiarisa Group include modular-based commercial retail infill, estimated by 2028, in-house prefabrication facility by 2030, workforce and transitional housing contracts with the New York City Department of Homeless Services, housing co-ops, land trusts for long-term affordability, and public-private land use partnerships. Exit opportunities for Chiarisa Group. First, sale of stabilized properties. This is a common and straightforward exit for many real estate developers. Once a property, whether residential market rate or affordable or commercial, reaches stabilization, high occupancy, consistent cash flow, well-managed, it becomes an attractive asset for various types of buyers, to institutional investors funds, to other developers operators, to real estate investment trusts, and individual property sales for commercial assets. Second option is recapitalization refinancing. Rather than a full exit, this strategy allows Chiarisa Group to extract equity from a project while retaining ownership and control. It could be as cash out refinance or bringing a new equity partner to minimize the risks while keeping ownership. Other exit form is the year 15 inches low income housing tax credit exit strategies for affordable housing. The low income housing tax credit, a cornerstone of affordable housing development, has specific considerations around year 15 of a project's compliance period. This period often triggers various exit options. General partner buyout, the original general partner, Chiarisa Group, may have the option to buy out the limited partner, the low income housing tax credit investor, at a predetermined, often nominal price. This allows Chiarisa Group to gain full ownership of the property, which can then be held long term, refinanced, or potentially repositioned if affordability restrictions allow. Sale to nonprofit or mission aligned buyer. Resyndication, when the property might be resyndicated with new tax credit, allowing for another infusion of capital. Other forms are sale to tenant association residents, strategic mergers or acquisitions, management buyout and succession planning with internal transition to new generations, and portfolio optimization individual asset disposition with selective sales. Different factors can influence the exit mode. Chiarisa Group's social impact framework pictures equity by deciding that more than the 50% of HEAT contracts will be awarded to minority and women-owned business enterprises firms. Sustainability by designing all homes that meet Energy Star or Passive House standards. Affordability by developing the 100% of units at or below 60% of the area median income. And community through partnerships with community-based organizations for wraparound services. Chiarisa Group's initial pipeline includes the construction of a new small to mid-size affordable multifamily building in New York. We are aiming to bid for the New York City request for proposal 324 Fifth Street. We are also looking forward to the acquisition, purchase, and rehab of a multifamily building for affordable housing. We propose the 550 552 West 174th Street in New York, a 49 Class C units building for affordable housing. We are actively pursuing recognition and leveraging certifications as a socially and economically disadvantaged individual and business under the Small Business Association and New York State Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprises programs. These certifications are critical gateways to accessing necessary capital, government contracts, and development incentives that have historically been out of reach for businesses like mine. As strategic partnerships, we will continue to deepen our collaborations with mission-driven organizations like Local Initiatives, Support Corporation, New York City Housing Preservation and Development, and local community groups. These partnerships are essential for securing contracts, successfully responding to city and state affordable housing requests for proposal, and forming crucial equity alliances with nonprofits and public agencies. To achieve scalable impact, our focus on high-quality, sustainable development, combined with rigorous property management, will enable us to build a robust portfolio. We aim to increase our impact by replicating successful models, always prioritizing deep affordability and community responsiveness. Chiarisa Group will not merely build, we will be a voice for those facing housing insecurity, advocating for policies and programs that truly empower individuals and strengthen the social fabric of our cities. Chiarisa Group started as a family business, and now we are seeking for a team that works as a family too. We are looking for mission-driven professionals, specialists, and staff. We are establishing a new company and looking for funding opportunities to fulfill our mission with a scalable model for helping to provide affordable housing. We are inviting you to join us and help Chiarisa Group improve the lives of New Yorkers in need. Thank you. Thank you.